Hey y'all, you are tuned in to the Powerhouse Lash podcast. This podcast is my diary to the lash community where I share my highs, lows, lessons, and rants based on my lash journey. My heart is to share the reality of what it's really like to build a lash business, and I hope this episode helps you feel seen, validated, educated, humored, and makes your lash journey a little bit easier. I'm your host, T the Brand, and I'm glad that you're here. Now, let's get to it. Hello, good people. Welcome back to another episode of the Powerhouse Lash podcast. I'm your host, T the Brand, and I am so glad that you are here. If this is your first time tuning into an episode, I hope that something is said that encourages you and makes your lash and business journey just a little bit easier. I have not posted a podcast episode since February 9th, and that is wild. Today is March 8th, and time has just been moving fast. So at the beginning of February, I released my social media marketing and branding class, which is called Build Like a Powerhouse. It's a class that helps lash artists be intentional about growing and increasing their clientele. We'll get into that later. But so I released that class at the beginning of February, and I just needed a little break afterwards because one thing that I am working really hard to not do this year is to burn myself out, to overwork, overload, overextend myself. So I took a little break from the podcast and also from YouTube. But we're gonna get back to it when we get back to it. And today is the day for podcasting. So I'm excited to be back recording and, just sharing more with you guys. So since that has happened, I've had another big project since the class was released, I had another big project that I was working on, and I don't want to talk about it yet because if it don't happen, I'm going to be in my feelings for a little while. But after I get out my feelings, I'm going to tell y'all about it. And if it does happen, I'm going to be super excited. Super excited to share all of the process and all the details. I kind of vlogged along the way about how that was going. So I'm looking forward to what comes out of that. So today, March 8th, today is the first official day that my mentees and I will start working. We had our first call, and this was just like an introductory call for me to, see where they are and see what their goals are and let them know my expectations of them as mentees, and then also what they can expect from me as a mentor, and to also hear what their expectations are from this mentorship program. So the way that these ladies have become mentors right now, I only have two mentees. The way that they have joined the mentorship program is they purchased the Build Like a Powerhouse social media marketing and branding class, but they purchased it with the package that includes 3 months of mentorship, my bad. So the mentorship was important to be included with the class. Like, you have to have the class before you can become a mentee, because everything that we're going to talk about, or at least the basis that we'll be covering and building upon, is what's in my social media marketing and branding class. So I wanted to be able to really maximize the time in 3 months, because when you think about it, it really is a short amount of time, but it's also I would say the right amount of time to start before you can start seeing results happen. So I made sure that with the class, I included mentorship for 3 months. After the 3 months is up, the mentees can choose to stay, or they can choose to, spread their wings and fly on without me. But I wanted to be able to be there to support them and to really help them put all of this stuff into place and have a clear understanding of how they can really intentionally build their businesses. So I want to talk a little bit about the actual class. I know that I've shared there's a class coming, blah, 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 but I want to tell y'all what's actually in the class. Okay. So Build Like a Powerhouse, like I've said, it's a social media marketing and branding class that intentionally teaches lash artists how to increase their clientele. So what made me start this class was because from my own experience, and then from like a year and a half of mentoring other lash artists, I have been able to see and learn that there is a gap between having the right information and knowing how to actually apply the information. So a lot of times we see on the internet, mostly like social media, Instagram and things like that, there are all kinds of business coaches, lash coaches, and they teach the fundamentals of creating a target audience and, you know, what you need to create a brand identity. But what they are leaving out is how to strategically incorporate your target audience into your brand so that you can market branded content that will actually bring your target audience to you without you wondering like, okay, I done wrote all this stuff out for this ideal client. Where's the client at, or where do I go to find them? No, knowing how to market right will bring the clients to you. So that's what this class does. You know, and when coaches don't teach the fullness of how to actually use your target audience and your branding, it just leaves the lash artist or anybody in business, it leaves them just feeling a little more confused probably, because before they didn't have all this information, but now they have a bunch of information and they don't know what to do with it. So if they invested in a class, spent some money, whoo man, I done wasted my coins to just get what I could have screenshot off of somebody's page, and I still don't know what to do with it. So in the class, there are 4 main sections, which are goals and systems. That's the first section. And then we cover target audience, branding, marketing, and then I have a bonus chapter in there with just some content tips. So in the goals and systems section of the class, I teach artists how to realistically set goals. That way they can avoid burnout, and achieve the things that they want. I teach lash artists how to break their goals down into break their short and long term goals down into small steps, or what I like to call a system. Hence why the chapter name is called Goals and Systems. So without having clear systems, goals can be really hard to achieve, because it's not like, oh, I just set the goal and I just do a thing and boom, goal accomplished. No, some goals are complex and require a bunch of different things for you to do before you can actually reach the goal. And if you don't know how to break a goal down into smaller steps, you'll try to take the whole staircase, and let's talk about the injury that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So this system teaches artists again how to break their goals down into small systems so that they can actually achieve it, so that they don't feel overwhelmed and burn out, and so that the goal doesn't seem impossible, because we have some really big goals. So another thing that helps with, or another thing that having a system helps with, it actually kind of builds your confidence to keep going for your goals, to keep working towards your goals, because you're able to actually see, okay, these are the 60 steps, and that's just a wild number that came to my head. These are the steps that I need to take in order to achieve this goal. And so once you start doing those things and crossing them off, okay, 60 just went to 55, and 55 just went down to 43, and 43 just went down to 30, and now you're able to feel better because you're actually making progress and not just being busy. There's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. So you'll be able to see, you know, your productivity in work and getting you close to this goal. And before you know it, you've gone from 60 tasks to complete this goal to boom, we've done it. And so that's what I want to be able to help lash artists do. Just be intentional. Avoid analysis paralysis, which is something that comes for my neck all of the time. I've gotten a lot better with it. And what analysis paralysis is, that's just when you have so much to do, you spend all of your time thinking about all of the things that you have to do instead of actually doing it. Because again, it feels like it's a lot. It feels really, really heavy. And, you know, just like the goal or whatever you're trying to accomplish is just huge and out of reach, or it's just too complex. And you just think about all the things that you have to do instead of actually doing it. So putting a system to the goals helps you to get through them. So the second section is on target audience. And this is where I give lash artists the formula to create their ideal client with intention. So we all know, or if you don't know, there are things that go into target audience, like their age range and their gender, what they do for work, and what they like to do in their free time, and what's their socioeconomic status, all these things, right? And so that, again, that's something you can screenshot off of Instagram. I'm sure somebody will post it. But what happens is, that's such vague information that it can't really set you up for success. So after you write your age range down, then what? You know, you got all this target audience stuff done, and you don't know what to do to get them in. So um I'm going to give a quick example of how I help lash artists intentionally create their businesses around these things. So, for example, we're taught to include an age range in our target audience, but there aren't often parameters given. Like a lot of people just be like, yeah, you just need to know the age range. So, because lash artists want to be able to have huge clientele, we go with the huge age range, not giving enough intentionality or thought to what happens when we have a huge age range. Think about Target in target audience. What is a target? If you think about I ain't never thrown darts, so maybe when I was younger. But anyway, if you think about like a bullseye, or when you're playing darts, like that bullseye is what you want to hit every time. Sure, you might hit some spaces around it, meaning outside of your target hit, clients outside of your target audience. But every time you post something, every time you market something, you want to be hitting that one person so that you can attract that one person. So, without an explanation, lash artists jump to having a 10-year plus age span, and they think it's a greater chance of gives them a greater chance of being booked. But if you limit the age range, that helps you market better. So, for example, in this example, if I have an age range of 5 years, let's say 25 to 30, that's the ideal clientele that I have. It's easier for me to market to people 25 to 30 years old than it would be for me to market to people 25 to 35 years old. Because at 25 and at 35, you are totally different people. At least you should be two totally different people, growth and all the things. I hope that we're all, doing the work to achieve growth. And so what I say, the language that I use, the colors that I use, the typography that I use, that's kind of running into branding, but still all of those things apply to the age range. So what's attractive to a 25-year-old is not going to be necessarily attractive to a 35-year-old. So if I'm putting out stuff that's all over the place trying to market to the 25 and the 35-year-old, that's more work for you as a lash artist and a content creator, because content is hard. So don't make it harder on yourself by narrowing the window down to 5 years. That gives you a more steady and stable target to hit. 5 years, okay, at least people are still connected with the same language, and the colors might not be off the wall, and their eyesight might not be, as mature. So looking at different kind of fonts will still be easy to read. So those are just some things that you have to take into consideration. This is real light, but I hope that it's real helpful too. Different pieces of the target audience, it just all has to be intentional. It all has to work together so that you can actually attract your clientele. So that's kind of what we hit on in the target audience section of the class. And then we move on to branding. So one more thing before we move on into branding. Your target audience is like the foundation of your business. Like everything that you do depends on the person that you want to bring in. So you have to create your brand identity and do your marketing and your content around your target audience. You have to really know this person. Otherwise, you're not going to attract this person, and you may not attract anybody at all to your business because you might be all over the place. So the purpose of the branding section is to help lash artists establish their business identities based on their target audience and not their personal preferences. So oftentimes artists will select their logos, colors, typography, which is fonts, their typographies that they think are pretty, but they don't think about how these things will translate to their audience or what they're trying to communicate to their audience. We create our brands to connect with people in efforts to have long-lasting relationships, longevity in the lash industry, and to stand out amongst other businesses. So I try to teach lash artists how to create every piece of their brand with purpose and intent. So in order to do this, you have to view things from and create your branding from a consumer standpoint. So for example, a brand's name should reflect the business owner because, they're the ones who has to exemplify the values, but also it should reflect what they want their clients to think about and what they want their clients to feel when they hear it. So Powerhouse Lashes is the name of my business. When you hear Powerhouse, if you don't know the definition, you want to know the definition. And once I'm able to have that conversation with people, I've already connected with them just on the name of my business alone. And then they want to know, okay, what's up with these lashes? Bet we got a client. Versus if my business name was Lashes by T. Okay, nobody cares because Lashes by Bree is the next post on the timeline. So you have to do things with intent. And if you didn't know, a powerhouse is a person or a thing of great strength, energy, or power. I want every woman to feel that when she comes to me, when she talks to me, when she comes into my space, when she gets her lashes done. Those are all the things. I need you to wake up and feel beautiful and feel empowered and feel like you are that girl. And they feel absolutely all of the things. So branding is super important. Brand names should connect with an emotion and provoke thought. It takes people beyond, oh, I'm about to spend my money on some eyelashes, and it gives them something else to connect to. So within the same reasoning, every different piece of your brand, we dive into how to make that connect with your target audience that you said. Okay, your target audience is, let's just go back to the let's just say 35. We said 25 to 30 before. So let's say the target audience is 35 to 40. Okay, these are more, mature and established women. Nobody wants to see hot pink all over your post with cursive fonts. That's going to hurt their eyes because it's a really loud color. I mean, I'm only 28 and super loud colors, I'll be like, ooh, I just can't stand to look at it. Hard font, my eyes crossing, my brain is hurting, and it's only been 2 seconds on your post. I'm gonna keep scrolling. So making sure that you have a typography or a font with your brand or a color that's associated with your brand that speaks to your target audience. And you also have to keep in mind that color psychology is a thing, gal. I'm giving you all kind of game, okay? Color psychology is a thing. So the way that people feel when they see colors, you have to take that in mind. If my color is black, what do I want black to communicate? Okay, black can be very dark and very depressing. How can I make black look like richness and solidarity? Like, you have to be able to think beyond, oh, these are some colors that look nice together and I like these colors. Boom, that's my brand colors. No, you have to think about the person that you want to bring in and what they're going to see and feel when they look at your content. So long story short, that's what the branding section is about. And we go through like all of these things in the class, like breaking them down and all of the sorts. So the last piece is about marketing. Wait, no, I want to hit on something else with branding. So a brand message, y'all. This is super important, and I'm gonna try not to do too much because you need to get the class. I promise you do. It's gonna bless your game. And the mentorship, because you get 3 months of mentorship, 2 monthly calls with me. So we get one-on-one calls to go over and discuss and put into place and create plans for whatever it is that you're trying to do and create within your business. And then we have a master class. So that's when everybody in the mentorship program, we get on a Zoom call and I'm teaching something that may be an extension from the Build Like a Powerhouse class, but it may be something else that, I'm noticing through conversations with everybody, like, okay, this is something that we need to talk about, or this is something that I need to help with. So yeah, it's totally worth it. And you get my number to hit me up whenever you need to. Right now I have with my lash, I have a lash artist and a young lady who has a lip gloss business, cosmetics business. Shout out to you, Tracy, and you too, Leandria. If y'all ever listen to this, but where was my brain going? Totally forgot. Okay, anyway, back to this branding message because I forgot where that was going. The branding message is just a simple sentence that keeps you reminded of what you do and what problem you solve. This helps with your content. When you don't know what to post, when you don't have a caption, when you just feeling like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with social media? Look at that branding message. What do you do? Talk about that. How do you help people? What problem do you solve? Talk about that. That will never get old because that is a pain point and that's what you're going to use to bring people in to your business. All right, I'm done. with that. And then so the last piece that we talk about is marketing. So when it comes to marketing, this is where you marry your brand identity to your content in order to attract your target audience. You have to marry, think about a marriage and how that works, your brand identity to your content. That means everything that you post, every card, every flyer that you pass out, it needs to be a reflection of your brand identity, which was already created based off of your target audience, so that when you put it out there, when you pass it out, you are able to attract the person that you are trying to bring into your business, i.e., your ideal client or target audience. A common challenge that lash artists face when they're trying to understand content is people try to post what's right instead of posting things that are valuable. You may think that posting the right thing is a set of lashes with like no kind of intent or education for the people who are looking at it. So if I just post my lashes and be like, volume is my favorite, she's wearing a cat eye C curl 9 to 13 millimeter set or something like that, book now, link in bio, nobody cares and nobody knows what that means. You have to give people value. You have to educate. Educational marketing is huge, and educational marketing is how I have been able to build my clientele within the last year pretty nicely. People see my page. My target audience finds me. The clients, the ideal clients, they find me because I am putting out content that speaks to them, that is for them. And I mean, like, total strangers find me on Instagram, and one of the first things that they'll say is, your page was really pretty, but then when I saw like you're teaching about the different parts of the service and teaching how to care for the lashes, and I just felt like you were somebody cool and I could connect, and now they're a client. And that's just how it goes. Your target audience and will find you if you know how to brand and market to your target audience. So anyway, posting what's valuable instead of what you think is just right, or just posting just to post. Make sure you're posting with intent. Everything that you share, you should be educating people, or you should be entertaining people, or you should be encouraging people, but through things that are related to your business. Don't just post a whole bunch of motivational messages and wonder why you ain't getting no lash clients in, but you're getting a whole lot of engagement on the internet. Yes, people want to see that. People want to hear that. People need that. It feeds them. But if you ain't posting the lashes too with the same intent and energy, you're not going to make any money off of lashes. So definitely make sure that you're creating some balance with all those things. So again, marketing that's how we turn people who are looking into people who are booking. The difference between, so I'm going to give you an example. And just go back to what I said before. So if I post a lash picture and I give a description or give a caption like book now, link in bio, you don't have a reason to book with me. You don't have a reason to engage with my content, ask any questions or anything. But if I post the same exact lash picture and talk about how lash extensions save you time, how they're going to boost your confidence, how they're a great enhancement if you don't know how to wear makeup and whatever, now the person reading this, my target audience, my potential client, now they can see how lashes may be beneficial to them. Herein lies the difference between right content and valuable content. Anything valuable or valuable content is any type of education that you share with your target audience. And we've already talked about educational marketing. And a piece of advice that I got last year, the best thing that I was ever told is you're already doing the work, just record it. You are literally already doing everything that everybody needs to see and everybody needs to know about. Just because people come get their lashes done, you got to remember their eyes are closed when you give them a lash bath. And I hope you're giving all your clients lash baths for the free. Include that in your set price if it makes you feel better. But come on, man, clean people's lashes. You're already doing the work, but their eyes are closed. They don't know what it looks like to get a lash bath. They only know the feels. They don't know what it looks like to have their eyes taped down, and then they probably may not know why you're doing it. Because I get every new client that I get, they tell me that nobody explains the lashing process the way that I have. Nobody shows them the lengths. Nobody shows them the different curls and actually lets them pick. I let my clients pick everything. Pick the curl that you want, pick the length that you want, and somebody calling. Okay, my bad, y'all. Pick the curl that you want, pick the length that you want, because you have to wear these lashes. I'm going to style them cute, but I need you to be comfortable with how they look and be a part of this process. These are your lashes. I'm customizing them for you with your preference in mind. And how do you have a preference or how can I consider your preference if I don't know it, if I don't ask? So, yeah, the class just teaches all of those things and just a couple of takeaways for sure that people will get from the class, or that those who buy the class will get. They'll learn how to create a target audience and brand identity that intentionally work together and practically work together. They'll be able to, or you'll be able to, easily and strategically create content that will actually attract your ideal client to your business. And lastly, you'll learn how to educationally market and how to use that to convert people who are just looking into people who are booking. So that's that on the class. I just wanted to give a little insight into what's actually in it. It's not your basic this is your target audience, this is your brand. No, we are actually putting action behind it and learning how to actually bring the people in or bring clients in based on this information. We're not just writing it down on a piece of paper and checking it off the list as something that we've done. No, we're going to work our everything regarding our business to bring these people in. And so again, today is the first day that I'll be having those deep dive calls with my two mentees. I'm so excited. They're so ready. They've been working since day one when we first had our like little initial check-in call. And I'm just excited to see what we can lay down for them to start doing now and to see the progress that they make. So that's it for this episode, y'all. I'm happy to be back on the mic. It's been forever, again, since like February 9th, before February 9th, because I think I pre-recorded some of those episodes. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. Happy to have you guys listening and connect with y'all. If y'all have any questions, any comments, leave them in the comments on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you're listening from, Google Podcast. And then also make sure that you can connect with me on Instagram. I love talking on Instagram, especially in the DMs. I talk to everybody. I answer questions. I help however I can. So y'all, that is that on that. And I hope that you have the day that you deserve. And I will chat with y'all in the next episode.